Oh, hey everyone. It's gonna be a little different sort of thing. Y'all may know me as DJ Dashimo, the guy who puts on anime soiree, guy who kind of just acts wild on stage, gets people hype. That's not gonna be me today. I'm going to come to you guys as Samir, who I am. I've been I've been going through a lot in the past 4 months now, and it's something that I kind of debated on whether I should speak on or not. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of talks with friends, even just professional acquaintances about what I should do about the situation. And there's a lot to think about. There's a lot of like brand risk putting this public, but with the information that I know, with the experiences that I went through, with what I've gathered through friends and through my psychiatrist during my therapy, this is something I don't feel right keeping it a secret. I don't feel right just sitting here and doing nothing when I could be warning people about this certain person, when I could be letting people know about the things that I went through, things that other people went through, so that this could be avoided, so that we can help this community. The person I'm talking about and will be discussing is named Kat. They formerly went by the name Allison. They're in the Louisiana cosplay community. They're the leader of the popular maid cafe in Louisiana named Candy Mix Maids. I've worked with them for 4 of my shows and other shows outside of that, and it's been a lot over these 4 to 5 months. I've dealt with things like manipulation, sexual harassment, forms of gaslighting, and it was tough. It was tough because, I was toxically held in this position, and I didn't even realize this until my friends told me that they thought it was toxic. And even then, I just still went by. Some people in the beginning of my collaboration with Kat, I heard things, but I was naive. I didn't really pay any mind. I thought, okay, well, they're really loved in the community, so how much weight can these claims really have? I was also hearing these claims from third-party people who weren't involved in said stories, but I failed the people who tried to warn me. And for that, I guess I sort of already learned for myself. With that being said, I don't really feel comfortable going on about I don't like going on about just being silent in the situation, and so I wanted to make it known that I want to speak up and become an outlet for other people. I'll be sharing my story, as well as 2 anonymous testimonials for people who reached out to me, who told me that I'm not alone, who told me that they felt horrible things by this person, by Kat themselves, and it's a hard video, so I do apologize if I stumble over words, if I start getting a little bit emotional. I'll try my best to keep my composure. There will be very minimal editing, and again, there will be a trigger warning in the start of the video, but this will talk about very sensitive subjects, and I thank you for your time. It's going to be a long watch, I understand that. I thank you for hearing my story and hearing other people's stories, and just to let you know that this is just one of many stories. These people are being anonymous because of many reasons, and there are other people who have gone through worse things than I have, who've gone through similar levels of the things that the anonymous testimonials have said, but they don't want to speak out for other reasons. and we're gonna respect that. So I want to preface one thing. I am not going to give the names of the anonymous testimonials who came forward and were brave enough to share their stories. Do not ask me for that. And also, while I personally cannot, I can't forgive Kat for what they've done to me and my friends and people in this video. I don't agree with the idea of witch hunting them. Do not witch hunt them. Do not say hurtful or mean things to them in their DMs. Do not do any of that, because if you support my story, if you support other people's stories, these are stories of hurt and pain, and I don't want to cause any more pain for anyone. What I want is someone who's wronged me and other people to be held accountable. I do not want them to be put in harm or in any more mental strife. So please, if I may ask, please, I know it might be hard coming off of very, very passionate passionate feelings, but please refrain from any of that if it's with malicious intent. I'll be detailing my story and structures. What I like to start off with is, well, I don't want to start off in general, but what I'll start off with is the sexual harassment. This mainly started in June when me and Kat worked on this show called the Cosplay Cabaret, and we met at previous shows. We met at a K-pop event. It was very minimal. We met at BoostCon, a little event. We talked for a little bit. I got to meet their partner and everything. So they asked me to be a part of Cosplay Cabaret, and I said sure, why not? It was a burlesque themed show, and I was going to be the DJ for it. I DJ'd for an anime set and a video game set. And so what happened was, we were in the middle of lip sync. She had to go get a costume from her hotel room, and she asked me to just make sure the show's running good and to tell me what happens in case she makes it late or the show runs a little bit later. And so, in a joking way, I kind of put my hand out saying, "You trust me?" Or it was kind of like a little nod to, it was like a movie reference. And so she shakes my hand, and then she says, "I trust you." But then she pulls me and it says, "I love you," and leans in for a kiss. I immediately reflect back, so the kiss on the cheek ended up being a kiss on the ear, and I was confused. I was really startled. I was uncomfortable, mainly because we've never established those type of boundaries. This was never a type of friendship where I've allowed that behavior to be persistent, and especially considering they have a partner, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. I will never condone cheating. I don't want to enable cheating. I don't care if I have interest in the partner or not. That is something that I will not condone, and the feeling wasn't reciprocated for me, and what they did was not consensual. I tried passing it off because it was a bar event that they were drunk, and I just thought, okay, maybe that was weird, but okay, it was a show. So the show continues. We're talking about doing this after party for a convention that was coming up, and I was telling them that I had a surgery coming up, but if we can get this after party, I will postpone the surgery. So they're asking what the surgery was. The surgery is for a thing called gynecomastia. Gynecomastia is a little lump in the chest that makes the male pectoral muscle look like breast tissue. It's something that I've had to deal with my whole life, but yeah. So they're just wondering what the surgery was. They knew what gynecomastia was, and then they're like, okay, good. I just thought it was something serious, so I just kind of said, no, something serious, just something I'm insecure about. She gets her finger, puts it in between my chest, starts going from side to side while reassuring and saying, no, you're a sexy, sexy man. Again, made me uncomfortable, made me weirded out. I didn't invite that type of activity. I didn't invite that type of permission at all. But again, it was just a weird situation. During that event, they constantly were telling me I love you. When she like signals a hug, I go in, she puts her cheek out as if I was going to like kiss it, which I thought was weird. And I didn't comply with that. But I ignored it, and yeah. In the situation, I felt very trapped because this was early on. I didn't even get to do a show with Candy Mix Maids yet. I was really excited to work with Candy Mix Maids because a lot of people were talking about them, a lot of people were requesting them at Anime Soiree, and I was thinking, okay, maybe this is just a weird one-off scenario, and maybe this won't happen again. And I also didn't want to start things with her and her partner, and I just didn't know what to do because I also felt like if I approached the situation, I would be made to like the bad guy because it would be reflected on me for thinking it was weird that I thought that they were trying to make advances on me, and because of that, I was scared that they were gonna just think that like I had some interest in them and that I was trying to plant these ideas in my mind, which I wasn't. And so I ignored it. Flash forward to Nerd Swap. What I'm going to mention in these are patterns, because when it comes to manipulative behavior, there's patterns. People do things for a reason, and when there's a pattern of something, when there's a repetition, you start to notice how often does it have to happen for it to stop being an accident. So there's this recurring theme where whenever talks are good, we were talking about shows, booking venues, talking about this, they would give positive affirmation, words of encouragement, flattery, saying stuff like I love you and everything. This is something that I will preface in this. I get weirded out when someone tells me I love you. As someone who is neurodivergent and ADHD, I deal with the side effect of ADHD, which is separation anxiety. And that, coupled with a lack of familial love from my parents, my parents never really, my parents are foreign. Mom from Honduras, my dad's from Egypt, so they have different ways of showing love and affirmation. And it's hard growing up when someone love bombs me. It's very manipulative in a sense, because a lot of people who did that, their actions didn't have weight, but their words tried saying a lot. And this was a case here, which I'll go on and revisit later. But Nerd Swap, it was weird because, I mean, this was a show we're working together on. We did the Hideaway show on June 30th, but I'm trying to stick to the theme of the incidents of sexual assault. The Hideaway show will come back later. But yeah, so I come in, she's acting weird, doesn't really talk to me. I try to make conversation. They're just giving like side eye, like kind of not like a little bit uncomfortable vibes, and it just rubbed me the wrong way because I was led to believe that we were not just collaborators but friends at least, because will constantly call me bestie. They will constantly say I love you. They will things that a business acquaintance wouldn't tell you. And that was a thing, maybe, and I do believe that this was their way of latching on to Anime Soiree, trying to get ahead of the game, trying to get me to work with them, which I fell for. And yeah, it was just weird. After my set, I mentioned that that Hideaway Den was gonna house the next Anime Soiree on oh my gosh, on August 26th. And after that, conveniently, I'm sitting down, they sit next to me, and they lay their head on my shoulder, which again, I thought was weird. Then they were asking me while their head was on my shoulder if I had a performer booked for Hideaway, and I didn't. And they were already, pitching ideas of how they can help and get involved and everything, which I thought was, weird that was the case, and also that they put their head on my shoulder without my consent, and also those actions are things that I leave exclusive for a partner slash significant other of mine, or someone that I've established those type of boundaries with, and me and her did not have that dynamic. And so we flash forward to the show on August 26th. I got a band to perform, and I had Kat and a couple of friends who were in Candy Mix Maze to do go-go dancing. And I was just asking if they had any song requests before I oh my god. Let me see. I was asking if they had any song requests before I finalized the set list before the show started, and what they said was, I don't know, something we could kiss to. And in my mind, I'm like, what? So I pretty much pretend I didn't hear it, and I go, what? And then she says, oh, nothing. Again, weird. Really weird, really strange. And during that show, whenever we would be on stage go-go dancing, sometimes the dancers will like interact. Like if I'm going crazy dancing, they'll like center the stage, or if they're going crazy dancing, I'll point to them or whatever. Kat would oftentimes be very flirtatious with their dancing and very hands-on, which was really weird for me. There was one time when I was playing Black Sheep from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, where she extends her arm and makes me twirl her around, which again, weird, but I come from a theater background where I'm told to take the apple. Taking the apple means when you're improvising, someone makes a choice, you kind of go along with that choice, because if you don't go along with that choice, it'll make your partner look weird and yourself look weird. And I view myself on the stage as a performance. I take liberties from my theater experience and my film experience as an actor into these shows. So yeah, that was weird. And there's more instances, like at RetroCon, they would give me these names, like they'd be like, hey, Gorgelina, and again, it's a name, like a nickname. Thought it was weird. Again, around this time, I'm just asking myself, even asking friends for third-party opinions, like, this is weird, right? Am I weird for thinking it's weird, or is this actually weird? And they would tell me, no, it's weird, because it's been a pattern. It constantly happens. And during this time, we had our homecoming show on September 23rd happening, and she was saying, oh, I'll do this just for you, like, using like a seductive type voice, which I also thought was weird, because in no way, shape, or form did I show signs of reciprocation. I've showed active signs of being weirded out. When she called me Gorgelina, I was confused, and she's like, oh no, it's just a name or whatever. And I don't know if the idea was to manipulate me, to make advances on me, to try to start something with me. Either way it goes, it made me uncomfortable. But I kind of just went with the whole show goes on mentality. So we get to September 23rd, the homecoming show. I'm in the car with Solo and my friend Thorin, and we're driving to Gasa, and she calls me. I was 2 minutes away from the venue. She just asked me where I am, and I say I'll be there in 2 minutes, and then she goes, okay, love you. I say, okay, because I have a weird tendency. If someone says I love you, sometimes I'll say I love you too, out of just it'll take me a moment, but it just depends. But again, it's weird for me because of my background that I've mentioned. And I say, okay, and she goes, say it back. And I hang up instantly. I apologize later because I thought that was rude, but I kind of It was it is a weird situation. I yeah, I'll I'll move on from that. Anyways, we go to the homecoming show, and my set comes up, and I there's this time where I wanted to try to get the crowd to do I was trying to do this TikTok where it was a POV. You play the Usos theme at the club. I saw it was like trending sort of on like wrestling TikTok. So I thought, okay, what it would be cool to like sort of do it with an actual crowd while actually playing the song. So I was trying to get people to like joke, and then they're saying like no, she was saying no, and that's it. And then I was like joking saying, oh come on, or like maybe like yeah, like I was just like you know like bickering, and then she puts her hand out and says, come on, bite me, and I'm like, what? Which is, again, it was weird, and I didn't. I looked at her weird, and I just kind of just went along with the bit that I was going for. During the go-go set, I played the Yuri on Ice theme, and she was towards the edge of the stage, like at the bottom, like where the crowd is. I was on top of the stage. She says something. I don't know if she's trying to get my attention or dancer's attention. So I look, and I said, "What?" And so she reaffirms her attention to me, closes her eyes, puckers her lips, and at that point, I'm mind boggled because I'm like, what's the purpose in this? Again, you have a partner who you claim you love, who you claim you care about a lot, but here you are doing this. I'm not gonna put myself in the position to do that. I'm not gonna reciprocate that. I'm not gonna condone that. And even if I did, it would make me look bad. So and it'd make you look bad on a professional level. So what was the point in that as well? And again, like I just didn't know the intentions. Like it's uncomfortable, and the fact that it's a pattern, and this isn't even the last time they've done something weird to me at this show. While I'm changing the song, like I'm on my board with the laptop in front, just with like my head down. She's slowly going from hip left to right as she's creeping towards me until I feel something on my rear end hit me. And so I look back and I see her. And she's all smiling, like it's a funny joke, and I kind of play it off because again, take the apple. But again, it was weird. My friend Taylor and my friend Solo, they both saw that. They also were there when she said bite me. They thought that was weird. And whenever I play the slow dance song, okay. I get on the mic and tell everyone, this is, because, it's homecoming, slow dance song. It's your partner, your significant other, the person you want to ask out for a dance, and dance with your partner. So she ends up putting her hands, like, getting close to me, putting her hands on my shoulder to get me to dance with her. And I danced because, again, it was performance, but I was uncomfortable. I thought it was also really weird how she danced with me, then a Candy Mix main member, but never her partner. And again, like, it was weird for me because I felt trapped in this entire situation. Again, fear of just making things worse for others, ruining a potential collaboration, especially with people who were highly regarded in the community. I didn't want any negative opinion on me being spread. I'm someone who likes to keep my personal life separate from my professional life. I don't try to intermingle relationship affairs with my professional life. So, yeah. And whenever my friends saw this and they had confirmation with their own two eyes rather than my word, they confirmed to me that this was sexual harassment. And I was meeting with my therapist, and he confirmed with me that what I've been experiencing is sexual harassment. And he confirmed that this person does show manipulative tendencies, and from what I've explained to him, I was being manipulated, and ever since then it was hard to just go about it, because I mean, sexual harassment and sexual assault in men is very undermined, because I mean, my psychiatrist explained it to me that if the roles were reversed, if I was doing the, if, let's say, I was doing the things Kat was doing to me, like, but we switched, like, let's say, like, I was the one, touching the chest area, obviously, or leaning in for the kiss and saying I love you, that would be considered sexual harassment, easily. But it gets unnoticed, because sexual harassment isn't really viewed, it's not really publicized in men, because I mean, when it comes to just toxic masculinity, the idea is, oh, well, you're getting attention by a conventionally attractive woman, so shouldn't you be excited? No, I didn't consent for that. I'm a very personal person, and I like to keep those interactions private with someone that I consent with, whether I'm in a relationship with said person or not. I rather have those moments happen consensually. And ever since then, the realization of what happened to me was someone ignoring my boundaries and putting their hands on me and ignoring my safety, ignoring what made me comfortable. That hurt. That really hurt, and it was hard. I mean, at my job, I've had to like tell my manager that because we have coworkers who try to show support by like tapping on the shoulder or touching your back or whatever, and I know they mean no harm by that, but I had to tell my because I'm not a very confrontational person, I had to tell my manager to, if they could ask them to stop. I had to open up to my manager about this, because every time someone would touch me on my back or something, it would make me lock up, it would make me tense, it would make me think back to that instance, because it was an instance to where I felt trapped. It was an instance to where I felt like I had no control. And I also, while I'm here, I want to apologize to her partner, Tyler, for not speaking up about this. I mean, if you're watching the video, this is probably the first time you're hearing about this, and I failed you for not telling you about this or informing you about this. I was scared that I would just start things. I'm scared that I would. I'm scared that I was gonna ruin a collaboration, that I was gonna ruin stuff. I didn't think about the situation of this is another man's partner ignoring the commitment they made, whether it's for her personal gain, whether it's for her lustful intentions. She ignored commitment. And I'm sorry for not informing you sooner, especially considering, which will lead to my next part, manipulation. Kat would claim that we're close friends and everything, say I love you, all this stuff, love bombing, because that's what manipulative people do from what I've seen, not in my coworkers and friends that have went through manipulative relationships. Because when you're in a deep, dark space, the harm, the abuse, the manipulation is undermined when that person gives you affirmation, especially if you've been neglected. Affirmation in your life, that dopamine rush, that just rush of knowing someone cares, or at least just not even knowing, hearing and having that idea that someone cares about you and what you do, it just drives you insane and makes you not want to escape that dopamine rush. And that's what they did. And the thing is, They claim they love me. They've claimed that we're close friends. That'll come back later when I talk about the hard to work with and manipulation side. But they never follow me on Instagram back, and that was what we collaborated on the most. They've never. I've tried having conversations, like as normal people. She's asked me if I wanted to be called Deshimo or Samir, and I've said Deshimo. You can call me Deshimo for shows, but if it's something personal you want to talk about, you can refer to me as Samir. What she'll do is, whenever she's trying to get my attention or trying to ask me, like, we're trying to get to a personal level, she'll say my name out of concern. Well, not out of concern, but in a way to get to me personally. But her actions never reflected on it. I mean, she's never, like, every time I try to start a conversation about anything life related, nothing. She'll just cut it short. Most times when we're at conventions or just performances, they'll never talk to me. They'll just give me like the dry, like, hey type of deal. They'll, like, it's fine if you're not my friend. It's fine. You don't have to be close to me to be booked. All you have to do to be booked is either have a love for anime or be in the community, have a talent, or trying to present a talent. There's no requirement for anime soiree in terms of friendship, because as long as you treat me with respect, as long as you treat others with respect, you'll be booked on anime soiree, or you could even ask and I'll do it. But my problem is when you claim to be my friend, but you show no things, and that's why I mentioned her partner, because Tyler actually took the time, sat down with me, sat down with Solo, sat down with my friends, got to know my friends, got to know me. Me and him had a really deep talk during Anime Town, during a performance on Friday that the maids were watching. We were sitting at the Candy Mix maid table and we had deep talks. He helped me tackle insecurities about college, and I lost a year of college because of chronic illnesses like acid reflux and IBS, being undiagnosed. My doctor said it was chest wall strain. They kept giving me anti-inflammatories, but it turns out those anti-inflammatories were causing heartburn because acid reflux. It was a story, but we had a really deep life talk, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate him. He got to really know Samir Khalil as a person. He helped my friend Solo, and he gave him genuine feedback when Solo made his debut at my show. He was nervous as all hell, but he freaking killed it, and he took the time to give him personal feedback, constructive criticism. He took the time and got to know Solo, took the time and got to learn about his music. Not even on a sense of, oh, I want to collaborate, oh, I want to gain something from you. No, he did it in a sense to learn him as a person and help him grow. And that's the thing with him. He's helped out the maids. He was watching the table so his partner could have a good time at the convention, and it sucks because he doesn't deserve this type of disrespect, and I'm really sorry for not coming to you about this personally, but I hope you understand why I didn't. And yeah, this will lead to my case of being hard to work with, which will in turn tie back with manipulation. During the June 30th show at the Hideaway, this was our first show we worked on, things seemed great. Besides sound check. Sound check is going to be a pattern to look out for, because They got there early. They wanted to run through the whole set list, which is weird, but okay. I come in. They want to sound check me. Whenever things are going well, she's hovering over, giving dead eyes stared, like manic like stare, asking what's going on. Can we rehearse another song? Which, again, we're running a show. This is very unprofessional, especially since you got to already run like maybe 5 or 6 different songs, and we got to make sure my equipment works and that we can even do the show. But anyways, my throat's hurting right now. Anyways, that's besides the point. That's besides the point, but we had a good show until I got to my friend Salem. My friend Salem tells me that they were upset because Candy Mix people, part of the group, were being rude to Salem and the other bartenders. They were being divas, according to her, and they were just sending the boyfriends to do all the work, and they just gave them a standoffish attitude for the better of my relationships and business. I'm sorry if my voice sounds pretty hoarse right now. It's acid reflux as well, but again. Anyways, she, for the better of me and my show and the belief in my people I book, she wanted to ignore it. I told her no, I'm going to talk to them about it because I don't tolerate that behavior. As someone who worked in a professional environment in theater and who was alienated, bullied by a castmate and treated like I didn't matter, I made it a point to never have anyone feel like they don't matter or that their opinion doesn't matter. And I talked to them about it. I talked to them and I told them everything. I talked to Kat, basically, and I told them that this behavior will not be tolerated. And so they're trying to get to the bottom of it. So I thought, okay, this is going to get handled well. Salem tells me who she thinks the person will want, because like she didn't know names, so Kat sent pictures, and Salem told her who it was, and it led to a fiasco. Salem in the messages saying that it's a shame because they're talented dancers, but they've had to stop booking people who are popular because there's a flaw. They have to stop booking people popular because of the way they acted, no matter how much tickets they dropped, because they treated staff and guests horribly. And Kat didn't like that. They said it was uncalled for in our phone call. She apologized to Salem, but it seemed very damage control like. It seems sincere at first, but it feels damage control after the phone call we had. She was talking about how the next show, they want to avoid Hideaway because of the incident. Her dancers are stressed out, and she was talking about how it doesn't, it just hurts because they work so hard, and this one thing happens, and it just ruins everything, ruins reputation, and trying to manipulate me, in a sense, with these, coming to me constantly just being vulnerable instead of trying to see Salem's point of view, because my problem is they backed down and said maybe this person has a right to be a diva. We're tired. We do a lot for the show. We do all this rehearsal. We do all these performances. We're the #1 dance group in the state. We get the most con performances. And by that logic, I hate that idea. Because it's not an excuse to be rude. You don't have to be their friend. You just have to show them respect, because Salem was actually the person who got me the gig. In turn, letting me get Candy Mix Maids the gig. Without Salem, I wouldn't have had that connection. I wouldn't have gotten to have a performance at Hideaway, which is one of my favorite venues. Sadly, it's closed down, but those 2 shows I did over there are memories that I will have for a lifetime, and I hate that idea, because no matter how big you are, you do not have any right to dismiss anyone, no matter if they're a sound engineer, doorman, bartender, a performer, a guest. It doesn't matter. We all are a big part in this community. We all are a family. We're all a cohesive unit to help make everything go. Sure, one person could host the thing, organize it, but at the end of the day, they're nothing without the people helping them. I'm nothing without the guests for Anime Soiree. I'm nothing without the performers for Anime Soiree. I'm nothing without the bartenders who constantly make sure people are getting their drinks and having a good time. I'm nothing without the bookers who believe in my show where other people wouldn't believe. So for it also reflects poorly on me whenever I invite someone and share this opportunity, and these guests of mine treat 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 the people giving them hospitality like crap. It's a slap in my face too. But we go on to the next part. We're going back to Homecoming because during the build up to it, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how long is Solo set? Solo gives me a time length. We actually go over his set because he wanted help and he wanted opinions and he's my friend, so we did that. I asked Candy Mixmaids how long their set is because this is the first time we're doing a 3-act structure plus a cosplay contest, and I'm having my very skilled videographer Ian doing videography for the show, and his rate is higher than average videographers because he's constantly booked and he's great at what he does. So I want to make sure I know the set time list so I know how much I have to pay him to record the most important spots of the night. I asked Kat how long the Candy Mix Made set list is. They said, I'll get back to you in the morning. Never did. And how long was the set list? An hour long. When did I find that out? The day before the show, when everyone else found it out. On Instagram public story, where it said where Candy Mix Made said, and I go, we have an hour filled of content at Anime Soiree Homecoming, and it felt like the show was getting hijacked. I mean, because especially Kat made it a concern that because Solo wasn't going to go for an hour anyways. He didn't have he would have to work to make that an hour long set list with the unfinished projects he had, and because some of the songs he was actually debuting at Anime Soiree, but they made it a point to make sure Solo's act wasn't so long, and Solo was also fine with that. So for them to go for an hour felt disrespectful because it just felt like it was undermining the show, undermining what I did, because we had people leaving out the door during the time because the set went on too long. Not to say that they weren't good. They were great. They were fantastic. I mean, they're Candy Mix Maids. They are talented dancers. They have talented performers. A part of it. But again, there's other acts in the show, and there's only so much you see of dancing. And I've had people message me saying that it didn't feel like Anime Soiree. It just felt like a Candy Mix show that I was just headlining. And also because of the lack of communication on their part to warn me about how long their set list was going to be, and not giving me time to say, no, we can't do this set list this long, or no, or yes, we can. I had to basically get the short end of my videography because I hired Ian for a set amount of time. And yeah, so that was annoying. Amongst the things I mentioned at that previous show, but then we hop on a call. I say, I want to talk about something. She says, is it bad stuff? And I said, it depends on how you look at it. I was just basically saying that it's stuff we can improve on. They were basically trying to duck the call. They said I could call Wednesday, but then we kind of got an idea of it, and then we called earlier, and then they immediately asked, is one of the issues our set list time, because we saw people dancing in the corner, and we saw people leaving out the door, and I said, yeah, pretty much, especially because it's a 3-act structure. But then they tried gaslighting me and saying it was 45 minutes, and then I said no, because they tried even saying that on the computer it shows 45 minutes, but no, because Solo's set ended at 9:35, and it was 10:32 when I checked my phone and I asked Kat how many songs they have left. They said 2 more. So yeah. And then they tried saying, "Oh no, but you said that it's always good. You said that it's always okay to do an hour-long set list, because that's what we did at Hideaway." No, they didn't. I was there doing the sound for Hideaway. I was there on her laptop, making sure that the volume was balanced between each song, because some songs have higher volume and higher BPM than other songs. So she asked me to do the sound for it, and I was like, okay, sure, why not? And I did it, and it was about 45 minutes. It wasn't an hour. It was not an hour. So, yeah, that was lie number 1. They've also just been hard to work with in general. Like, they've had issue. It was hard to work with Kat because of issues like my graphic designer. He had to redo a poster a certain amount of times, but that's different. I guess that's just because we were making the poster for Candy Mix Made, so I guess that's valid. But again, it was still just something. But the main thing was for the Halloween show on October 20th. It was we had Calamansi showing up, and they're gonna be our opening band, and they were suggesting that Calamansi only get 20% of the revenue, and that Candy Mix gets as much as me, the organizer. They suggested a 40-40-20 split, 40 for me, 20 for Candy Mix, and 20 for Calamansi. And their argument was that because they're go-go dancing during my set and doing a set list and featuring, which is undermining Calamansi because they're also featured and performing, and they were bringing in a good amount of people. I'd even argue that that Calamansi brought in more people in Candy Mix, because we had a ton more people that didn't show up to the last event that were mainly there to see Calamansi. But yeah, that also leads to the next problem, because during the homecoming set, during the Halloween show, the vibe was off. The vibe felt like no one wanted to be there. I tried talking to Kat and saying hi. They treated me with disrespect and go hi, like the weird, manic, uncomfortable stare again. I tried talking to other dancers. They didn't really give me any attention. It felt like it felt like from the get-go, people didn't want to be there. And I'm going to show why I think that was the case, because of another issue we have. This is going to be our first set of screenshots. This actually is involving an ad reel. I have to explain this one. Ian, my videographer, did the photography for this show, the homecoming show, that had Candy Mix Maze in it. So I was like, okay, Ian, could you make a highlight reel for Halloween Soiree? Because I want to make Halloween Soiree the biggest show ever. You have our best footage. You also have footage of Candy Mix Maze, who's going to be at the next show. So this is perfect. And he was also the videographer for the second biggest show, the second biggest anime soiree ever. And so I was like, okay, he has his, because for Ian, it's easier to edit footage that he filmed, because he's a very experienced videographer. He has a 360 camera. He has a really good camera. He has certain camera movements, and the way he moves his camera for certain shots, it transitions well into other shots, and he knows how to work with it. So yeah, let's go to the video real quick. I'm sorry. Okay. This is the ad reel for the show. Really well, just, yeah, gosh. Just really well, I can't talk, really well edited ad reel. Love this. This is also something that I wanted to promote on Instagram. And an Instagram campaign, pay for a campaign and everything. So yeah. And an issue was that Sweet Supernova was involved in said show that Ian was at. Ian actually didn't know that they were two different dance groups. He's not part of the anime community like that or the cosplay scene. He does know that, like, oh, some people are in both groups because he kind of recognized some faces. So he had people in, and that leads to the next issue that there was Sweet Supernova people in the ad reel. So I'm going to read this first set of screenshots. There's kind of more clips of Sweet Supernova than there are of us. Any chance we can get that clip of Margot switched? If we can do that, it'll all be good with me. And I said I'll ask Ian to make a quick little change. Just because it's right after the featuring Candy Mix Maids. Yeah, the clip after featuring Candy Mix Maids needs to be us, no Sweet Supernova. Are you fine with the ones before the featuring? Just the ones after? I agree that after, it would cause confusion. The reason I mention this is because, like, they were shown for very brief moments. You couldn't really tell if Sweet Supernova was dancing on stage, dancing at the show, just in the crowd. It was very split. And also because I think I need to show the transition real quick because it was a really good transition. There's this transition. Yeah, right there. Okay, let's do that again. This just transitions so well. So I think just messing that up would have made a little bit of an issue, but if it had to be changed, it had to be changed, and that's fine. And so just keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. This is her agreeing I'm fine with before, yeah. Okay, so I go, he's fixing it. He didn't know y'all were different groups. He apologized for the inconvenience. All good, let me know when you're gonna upload the video. I send the updated version. And wait. Did I not show the ad reel? Okay. Okay, let's just show the ad reel just in case I didn't show. So, I'm sorry, I'm doing this on OBS, so bear with me. Okay. Again. This is the ad reel. This was the transition I was talking about. And this was the clip that was an issue. Oh crap. Yeah. But you get the point. Anyways. We're gonna go to the edited version. Oh wait. Yeah. Same transition. Yep, you know, just the ad reel. Alright, so that was the updated version. And she says, looks good to me, thank you. Keep that in mind as well. Okay, so she goes, ready to post now. And could we make the cover image something with all of us? So I'm thinking, okay. So you're gonna have a picture of Calamansi too? This is a 3-person show. Do you want a picture of the cosplay guests as well? And so I go, I don't really have an image that would have everyone performing because this is like Calamansi's second show. And I mean, we don't have a picture of like me and Candy Mix performing. So I go, I'm ready though. Because I didn't really think about the cover photo. I was just going to put either just a nice crowd shot from the video, or I was going to put the poster from the show. And so she says, could I send you a possible image to use? I said, sure. I was probably just gonna use the poster. And so she says, I'm making something. 1 second. This is where I see controlling type of behavior. She makes this poster. Keep in mind, I'm putting this, I paid for Ian to edit this reel. I'm also paying additionally to promote it on Instagram's campaign, as well as Facebook campaign for the ad, for like an ad campaign. So I want to maximize the most amount of clicks as possible, and a thumbnail is really important. And I personally I wouldn't feel right promoting a very put together image like this. I mean, you could still see like the blurs and everything, albeit I am zoomed in and everything, but this screams just like Snapchat cutouts. And yeah. And then they just added another one. Again, I do not feel right putting this and making this for a professional ad reel, because Anime Soiree has a standard. I make sure, you know, make sure my graphic designs are on points for the flyers, try to make sure the videos are on point and everything. So I like to keep a set standard, and this really just screams, oh, we want to be the center of attention, and we want to make sure that we're highlighted and that we're seen as stars in the event, instead of looking at the event as the event and trying to get people to show up to it. Because again, this is going to be not just shown to people who are, because the people who are fans of me and Candy Mix Maids know what we're already about, so they're going to come to the show. They don't need to see that we're on the show. They already seen the poster saying featuring Candy Mix Maids and DJ Deshimo Presents. We're trying to appeal, at least I'm trying to appeal, to an audience that has never been to Anime Soiree, because we're doing Halloween Soiree. We're catering it to K-pop fans, fans of cartoon, comics, movies, because it's Halloween, so it's going to be a big cosplay contest. Going to be different types of music being played by me. So that's the point, is to trying to get all different avenues, but show a really hyped crowd shot, show a really hyped video, so people understand, oh shit, I'm missing out on something amazing. Let me go here. Okay. I said, if you want something with us together, I have pictures of me with y'all. Dead emoji. These gems still exist. Also, I didn't really notice until, like, after I looked back at the photos, that they just kind of put their hands on my shoulder during this picture, and looking back on that, that's also really freaking weird to me. But, okay. I didn't notice it whenever we took the picture, because like the jacket, I'm cosplaying Jason Tuff from DC, so like the jacket kind of just, I literally couldn't feel anything, so I just didn't even know this happened until after the photo was taken, and now it just makes me feel weird. But that's besides the point again. So we just have like these cursed pictures, you know, like the little like 360 cam and everything. These pictures would have captured like the cursedness of the poster. The poster is really cursed if you haven't seen it. This is just a bunch of characters. John Cena's on there. Jeff Lapaw from Hell's Kitchen. It's just random. Schnitzel from Chowder. So she says, Jesus Christ, well, I just wanted to fit the grid theme. We will use those soon, though. And I'm like, grid theme of CMMM Instagram. She sends another poster with words on it, and then she shows me what the grid theme is, so I'm like, oh, okay, like, I get it now. And she says, see how everything on CMMM makes rows? I'm working on a homecoming row. So it'll be this video, then I'm making my own Candy Mix made highlight reel. Oh, and for context of this, we were on the phone before this reel. I was just saying Ian's making a reel. She says, okay, do you want to collab post it? I say, do you want to collab post it? And they say yes. So this is why I also have issues, because I was just going to post this on my own and just tag the performers. They wanted to make it a thing about collabing and wanting to do these specific rules to it. Specific rules to content I'm paying for and content I'm promoting. So yeah. Okay, so I was like, grid, but I get it. I don't really know how I feel about using that picture, to be honest. It just looks very thrown together. I plan on boosting this ad reel, and I want the cover photo to either be the poster to highlight the theme, or a crowd shot from the ad reel to establish the hype for the event. This is where it starts getting dicey. Can it be a crowd shot from Homecoming then? Which I would like to be consistent, because it would be nice to have a crowd shot from Candy Mix Maze to be like, oh, okay, Candy Mix was at this show, so people are really excited for that, so, you know, you gotta tune into this show because this show's gonna have them again, and you can be a part of this. Sadly, it's not that the shots were bad from Homecoming, we just had the shots from the show at the Willow that Ian filmed that had Sweet Supernova, without, not even Sweet Supernova just being involved. That show was just really big. We had our second biggest attendance ever. We had a decently sized venue. We had really nice lights. We had a really good videography. We had really good shots. So that's why we have the best type of crowd shots. So I say I would like it to be, oh, horrible grammar on my part. I would like to stay consistent. It's just the fact that the crowd shots in this highlight reel from the show I did at the Willow are genuinely so good. But I tried to compromise, be a middleman, not start arguments with my partners. So I send crowd shots, like screenshots I send screenshots from the reel at Homecoming that could work. So I send that, see what they think. Here's some from Homecoming that were used in the reel. I like these. This was a shot at the Willow. There's a lot going on. This kind of feels Halloween Fest, because I mean, you got Blair right here, you got Shigo. So like, you know, we got anime, we got cartoon, we got just other people wearing whatever. We got, you know, Naruto. So like this kind, and we got Black Hat right here. So it kind of just goes in line with Halloween as well. Yeah. So I go, but this one specifically I think is really good, as it shows a lot of main entry points, costume engagement, crowd engagement, and it looks like people are having the time of their life. And so I'm just go to the next one, just so we can just get this all in one take. It just hurts because we weren't the act there. I just thought that Halloween was supposed to be an event we were working on together. There's Sweet Supernova clips in the reel and photos of y'all's event on our page as the cover. First of all, what? It just kinda doesn't feel great. We want to promo and do all of the things to help this event be as successful as possible. We need to stay true to our branding. Imagine if I wanted to promo an event with you and you would use clips and pictures from an event with DJ Demi or something. You would feel a little slighted. Give me 1 second. This is where I disagree. What I got upset about in this situation is because Sweet Supernova shouldn't have been brought back up. And again, I'm not dragging them into this video. It just so happens that Kat had an issue with Sweet Supernova being in a highlight reel. But I asked them if they wanted to get it changed. They said only after. So we did that. I verified with them, sent them the new version. They said, looks great, thank you. So my issue is, why are you bringing this back up? The crowd photo also didn't have Sweet Supernova members. So what's the issue? Actually, let's just pull this screenshot back up. It's just hurts because we weren't the act there. And again, it wasn't a case of, to me, this just comes off as competitive. It comes off as gatekeeping. It comes off as not wanting people to succeed. I've mentioned that The only reason that there's more crowd shots of the Willow show was because this is an anime soiree thing. Halloween soiree was a risk because we were abolishing the anime soiree tagline. We were going with Halloween, so we had to heavily market the fact that we were doing other type of genres. We also have to market how good the event will look. And yeah, I had to pull from the best footage I could find from anime soiree's history. And I hate this idea of there's sweet supernova clips from the reel and photos of y'all's event on our page. Which, first of all, where's the photos of our event on their page? Oh, okay, as the cover, yeah. Photos of y'all's event on our page as the cover, which it's not a big deal because the thing is, when outside promoters get other people, where do they have to get their footage from? Other venues, other bands. Let's say I were trying to book a show at Republic. They would have to show clips from Gasa Gasa, but it wouldn't be a big deal. Other people have to get their clips from other things. I just so happen to have my best footage from that show, and I wanted to do what was best for us to help the community grow. Because I was trying to make an ad reel that'll get the most engagements, that'll look the best, that'll look amazing, that'll get people who are coming in from these Instagram and Facebook ads to come to the show. And that's what it should be about. After every single group, performer, band I've worked with, I've never had problems with any of this until now. And that's why there's a divide. I look at anime soiree as a community. I look at other people going to other people's shows as a community. I absolutely hate the idea saying, imagine if I wanted to promo an event with you but use clips and pictures from an event with DJ Demi or something. You would feel a little slighted. No, I wouldn't. Because first of all, me and DJ Demi are cool. He's a great friend. We shared a pizza together at a Nerd Swap. He's given me one of his boards for free. I mean, he's done nothing but good by me. He's actually helped me out a lot. He's a more skilled mixer than I am. He's a more skilled DJ than I am. He's helped me in things that I'm lacking. He's given me advice in things that I'm lacking. And I appreciate that because iron sharpens iron. I hate this mentality that I'd feel slighted. I wouldn't feel slighted because it's a point of community and it's a point of growing, alright? Because if DJ Demi succeeds, I succeed. If Nerd Swap, another show that by all means could be viewed as a competitor to anime soiree, which it's not, because I'll do Nerd Swaps and everything. If Nerd Swap succeeds and they book me on a show, that gets me more fans or more followers. That helps me. If Nerd Swap's more successful, it means more people are in the community in other avenues. When Pirikura Panic hosts the show and they get people in, it's more people in the community. Let's say Pirikura invites me to a show, I jump on it. It helps me because they've already built a platform, they have their own fans, and I get the rub from them. Let's say vice versa. Anime soiree's popping off, and Pirikura gets invited. They get a rub from my show, because my people are being introduced to them. Because this community, we shouldn't be trying to gatekeep each other. And I hate that it's an idea, because the thing is, theoretically, if Sweet Supernova succeeds, Candy Mix also succeeds. I get that sometimes they're fighting for the same type of, like the same roles and everything. Like, kind of like acting. Not like acting, but you know what I mean. But, like, at the end of the day, if more people are into idol stuff, if more people are interested in idol in the con scene, it helps both parties. Sweet Supernova has done a lot to help the growth of anime soiree. it's no secret that my second biggest show involved them. And legit, like, that they put a decent amount of eyes on Anime Soiree. They helped reshare Anime Soiree towards the beginning when I even did my first show. Okay? And technically, them helping my show helps other people because some of these people might not have even came to my shows if it weren't for them. Just like how some people, just so like Anime Soiree probably wouldn't have even been a thing if Pirikura Panic didn't sign on for the first ever one. Because of contributions from, let's say, those two performance groups, people like Solo get introduced to a crowd that possibly never would have been with me till the day he got booked. Other people like other bands, like, everything's a community. We help build a community. My whole point, which I'm going to get by in this next slide. I'll just say it for the next slide because this will preface my point better. I understand this and I'm sorry for this. It's nothing against you all. The shot just happens to be from a different show, and at the end of the day, it's branding and marketing, and I want to do what I believe will help bring more people into the shows. That way we can have more people see our show, know what each and every one of us are all about, and put money in each of our pockets so that all of us can keep doing this. And that's my point. What I do for Anime Soiree, I want to make sure that we have a videographer, photographer, we make sure we're promoted, we make sure we have people in the door, so that way, because I'm not going to pretend like Anime Soiree is the be-all, end-all for everyone, because it's not. Anime Soiree, my whole purpose of doing Anime Soiree was to build community. My whole purpose of Anime Soiree was to create community and interaction that we've so been lacking in Louisiana ever since MechaCon has ended. And that's my point. I want to be able to create a platform, a safe space for people to feel like they're welcome, for people to show off their talent in the anime community, for people to cosplay and have an excuse to dress up and meet new people, for people to just, who've never gotten to perform, be able to given a stage to perform on, given a media kit with my photographer and my videographer so they have footage to show these con bookers, because I know my show's not the be-all end-all. I know some people dream about performing at Holiday Matsuri or AWA or Anime NYC. People have dreams and I want to help them reach their dreams. And I want to see Anime Soiree grow. I want to grow Anime Soiree. I want to make it big. I want to make the show big to make this community bigger, because this show has done a lot for my life. But these actions, I'm trying to make sure I'm not too loud because we got people sleeping. These actions don't feel like community. These actions feel like gatekeeping. These actions feel like someone is jealous and someone doesn't want someone else to get a piece of the pie, or just because, again, it was very minuscule what we saw of that group. And I hate that it's a big deal. Kat called me and told me that they're just going to work on their own reel and everything, and that for future reference, for future shows, to only include Candy Mix stuff. So yeah. We go back to the homecoming show, coupled with the idea and the whole dilemma of it feeling like no one wanted to be at the show, felt like the show was being griefed, felt like, them Kat telling her dancers to stop dancing on the stage at 11:30 when they made it apparent that they want a higher rate because they go dance during my sets, even though they left an hour early, and they even told their dancers, no, I don't want anyone on stage at 11:30. That show felt uneasy. I still had fun, but I don't look fondly of that show. This was something I did for fun. I loved Anime Soiree. I had an escape. But they also were yelling at their dancers as well. They were berating them. They had issues with sound check, like always. Homecoming, they had an issue. Solo couldn't get his mic pack to work, so they were hovering over him. And I told them at homecoming, the day before homecoming, that Solo's gonna go first. Sound check's at 6. Be patient because he's the most important person. All you have to do is make sure the sound works on songs you've already rehearsed for. Okay. Solo, oh, jeez. But Solo, he has to make sure his audio's leveled, his microphone's leveled, the song plays well, the audio is completely mastered and sounds good on a speaker in a club environment. So she was hovering over him saying, "What's going on?" Like with the blank manic stare. And it felt unprofessional again. Because there's other acts in the show. They already got to perform a dance number. And they've already rehearsed these songs. Solo, no matter how hard he rehearses, he can't beat faulty equipment. So then we go to Halloween. She starts yelling at her dancers, starts berating them. She treated me horribly. She apologized later because she apparently had a panic attack and was stressful and went upstairs and she was fine, which I've sympathized for because panic attacks are not great. They're horrible experiences, but it doesn't excuse demeaning and berating your own dance members who you'd be nothing without, members who got you to where you are. Yes, you put in a lot of work leading and organizing them and getting them there, but they also put in a lot of work and that deserves respect, and I did not like the way they were treated. And I'm going to get to that. Sorry. Okay, this is looking for it. This is also my attempt at making amends with her. Putting everything under the bridge. All the tough times and everything. All the inconveniences, the sexual harassment. I try putting this under the bridge. But before I go in with this, the thing with more context for the Halloween soiree sound check, she made it apparent that she was upset because she got there at 6:30 for homecoming, didn't even get the sound check because, again, I said Solo has a sound check first, so she was saying, we're gonna go at 6:30, but can we sound check first, even though sound check's normally at 6 o'clock, and we have another band who needs to sound check as well, so they're making a big deal over sound check, again, and I'm gonna mention this later, but sound check doesn't take 30 minutes for a dance group. In theater, where people have to do 2 acts of musical numbers that are far more demanding and they have to sing to, they'd be lucky if they even get to rehearse one song. You don't get a full run through of a 2-hour play, a 3-hour play, or even a 1-act play. You just gotta know it. So, that'll lead to my next part when we get to this. Hey, I wanted to touch base and make sure everything is alright. You seem very distraught and upset during the show, and I just wanted to make sure that you're alright, and if there's anything I might have done to make you feel that way, or if I'm just looking too far into it, and if I am, I'm sorry about that. She goes, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm having just a bad day, and I, had a panic attack upstairs before the show. My nerves got the best of me so badly, sadly. After we danced, I was very much okay. I remember you telling me that. I was just making sure as the anger sort of felt targeted, but I don't know. Glad you were feeling better after dancing, and glad you're doing alright. I'm sorry if I seemed angry with you. There's just a lot happening. I had tried after we danced talking and saying thank you and all. I didn't get to catch you before we left because I had a car full of people waiting on me. This thing, also, no one besides one person from Candy Mix Made said goodbye to me. And that was one of my friends in the group who was performing, and I think 2 others, but yeah, no, this was, I don't know, if you really needed to say goodbye, you would have, but I digress. That's besides the point. There was a lot happening. Oh wait, I read that already. You're all good. I just wanted to make sure. Good luck at AWA though. AWA is a convention. So she says, I care about you a lot. I want you to know that. I'll work harder to keep a more stable mood because I don't want to hurt our friendship ever. That part fucked me up because it made me forget about all the pain she's put onto me and other people at this point. I wanted to believe this. And I did believe it. But again, from what I've said, she hasn't shown proof of us being friends. But I wanted to stand my ground for once. I wanted to explain what I had felt and be honest, because I've hurt other people by not being honest and letting everything boil over. So this is my way of starting anew by being honest with how I felt and how I felt like I was treated and how I wanted to just work from these problems, not forget or forgive. Forget in a sense of not to put it on their head, but no, this is not how I want to run things. So I appreciate the effort you're putting into trying to maintain our friendship, and I appreciate the care you're putting into doing right by me. But this is also important to keep this type of resolve for your fellow dancers. I personally want to avoid a scenario like last show's soundcheck. I can't say I know the full details, but that type of behavior is not something I'd like to have being harbored at these shows. These shows are an escape. The whole motto, I believe, is to make memories for everyone with these shows. Shows for one night in the month, and I want these nights to be memorable for the right reasons, and the vibe seemed off. I've had people at the show saying the vibe felt off. I have had one person reach out to me mentioning how a Candy Mix Made member reshare of the post felt shady, as if they didn't want to be at the event. As someone who puts a lot of time into making these events, money into these events, making sure my guests have videography and photography present so that they can have stuff to show other bookers, it feels like a slap in the face when people a part of the show either just show no appreciation for the time committed or visibly show that they do not want to be present at the event. It feels like I'm being taken advantage of, and that type of behavior hurts me personally, and it hurts the Anime Soiree brand and the vision I have for it, especially when there are other people who would want an opportunity to perform at one of these shows. Keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. I said, especially when there are other people who would want an opportunity to perform at one of these shows, because she's going to misquote me later. I mention this as I want to be transparent, and I want to make sure this type of feeling isn't repeated at the February show. Basically, we're going to do a February show. She asked me way in advance if they could book if they could be booked at Anime Soiree for their anniversary. They've even tried calling it Mix of Love and tried making it a Candy Mix anniversary show for Anime Soiree, which I have to stay true to my brand, and I said no, because as someone who puts money into making the event, who puts money into marketing it, promoting it, getting videographers, photographers, I can't just do all this for an event for people, especially when there's already issues being presented with said person. It shows like said person isn't even grateful for it, where it just feels like I'm being used. But anyways, I mentioned this solely because I just want to be honest and upfront and make sure we bring the best out of each other going forward, and I expect you to be honest and upfront with me as well. If I do anything that disservices you or anyone in Candy Mix Maids, as I appreciate everything y'all do. I didn't put do, and I want to make sure that I do right by you all. This is where it all goes down south. Shady, I communicated with you non-stop about sharing posts and advertising. I care about these shows and every show infinitely. I learned how to use editing apps and spent hours on video editors to make the best high quality content to match the content that you were putting out, since I didn't want a collab post, so that you could feel like I was putting in an equal amount of work. Also, if the vibes were off, I really don't think that was my doing, because I had multiple people reach out to me and Candy Mix Mates after the end of the show to say during your set they were thankful that we were there to dance with them, and that they appreciated how nice and accepting we were, and that we all wanted to hang, and that I personally went out of my way to meet new people and dance with them and make friends. Okay. I have to move on to the next screenshot. And I can understand your concern with the way I run my group, but if you give me 30 minutes for sound check and I have 15 people to run and people show up late and dances have to be rerun, then I have to run a tight ship to ensure everyone still feels ready to dance and when the wires come down. I even had a meeting with everyone about that sound check right after the show, and how I didn't like that I had to get on them to pay attention when the sound check was for them personally, and they all seemed okay when we were done talking. I hope that me having a bad time and being nervous doesn't negatively impact your opinion of Candy Mix Maids. But I can name 10 people at the show who all either spoke to me night of or reached out after to tell me how much fun they had with us specifically. We're also one of the only acts who stays at your shows almost to the end, if not until the end of every single time. They left an hour early, and they made it a point to make everyone else leave an hour early. They specifically said no one should be on the stage past 11:30. The show ends at 12:30. And they were getting paid extra on top of calamansi, but I ended up taking a pay cut from Halloween because I didn't want Candy Mix to get paid poorly. I didn't want calamansi to get paid poorly, as they're my guests and I respect them enough. This hurts, man. You know, I put in hours on hours on hours into doing these shows with you. I just feel like you're calling me ungrateful and saying I'm bad attitude. I go into these shows and introduce myself to everyone. I hold months of practice. I reach out to you thoroughly communicate about plans to make sure I'm pushing your vision. I don't know a lot of other acts you work with that do the same. I think saying that there are... Yep, here it is. There are a lot of other groups who want this. That is not what I said. I said, and I quote, especially when there are other people who want an opportunity to perform on one of these shows. That includes dance groups, that includes bands, that includes singers, that includes performances, and yes, there are people who have reached out to be on Anime Soiree, and I'm grateful that I've gotten to that point where people have asked to be on the show, which I respect and I appreciate, and because those people that I've taken chances on their debuts, they've treated my show with nothing but respect and felt compelled to live up to a standard for Anime Soiree, which I respect. And this is also repeated behavior, because when Salem not even threatened, but mentioned that there's a possibility that they have to go separate ways, even though they didn't want to, she felt threatened. It means you think Candy Mix doesn't deserve it. Just hurts me that being too nervous and having a bad time at one event out of like 10 we've done in the last 4 months was enough to have you truly question if I'm good enough for this. I do apologize for sending these walls of text message at 5 a.m. We're preparing for our show in Atlanta, but I just am really, really hurt. I care about you and the anime community and Anime Soiree so much. I'm actually shaking right now. I work tirelessly to do right by all of you, and my feelings are very hurt. I spent so many days and nights pushing for these gigs and practicing and making content and reaching out. Did you know I did a campaign on Facebook for the event? How about Snapchat? How about sending a mass text message? Man, I just feel really bad. I can't find my mouse cursor. Okay, here it is. Why is it invisible? Hold up. Okay, I fixed it. After this, I woke up at 9 a.m. I tried to gather my thoughts, read it cohesively, and try to come through with a response that would not discredit what she's going through. This is the call log just to confirm that this call had happened. And she starts off the call by saying, "You really hurt me. You know that, right?" And she kind of deflects the blame, ignore what's happened. I said shady because there was a member who reshared the post and said everyone's talking about how cursed the event is, but no one's talking about what's important to me. And they said me in all caps, and that's K-pop and sexy dancing or whatever. And again, like, someone reached out to me and said that seemed shady, and I'm like, okay. Like, if someone else is noticing it, I feel weird about it, but yeah, like, she ignored the sound check issue in the phone call, and basically just tried saying that they had one bad day, even though this is a pattern. The sound check has always been a pattern. They've tried putting it on me, saying that they were stressed out, and I'm blaming them for being stressed out, when, again, there have been, I don't think you can sympathize and relate to someone if they're upset, but that doesn't justify treating someone poorly or justify someone's actions. And they again reaffirm the saying other groups is uncalled for, when again it's just accountability. And if you just can't learn to respect me, respect my opinion, respect my feelings. So the thing was, it felt like my feelings were getting invalidated. I told her that it felt like I was being unappreciated. You may, because the thing is, they went back to saying, "I care about you a lot. You're one of my close friends," and it hurt. It hurt because I wanted to believe it. I let it get to me because I believed I was hurting a friend. Whenever I try to speak my volume, they don't budge. Whenever someone at like Gasa tries to tell them we gotta wrap things up because we need to do sound check, they budge. Maybe it's because I hold no authority. Maybe it's because I'm a pushover. Maybe it's because I'm too weak or too compassionate. I've had my boss told me that they don't believe I could be a director because I'm too much of a pushover. And maybe they're right, and maybe that's what Kat does. Maybe Kat knows she can get advantage of me. She knows that she could play the victim card, because there have been many times where she's went straight to voice call instead of through text, because she knows if she calls on the phone, starts making it seem like I'm hurting a friend, I'll budge. I'll surrender. I won't stand up for myself. And I got confirmation from other people who were close to her, who are close to her, and I tried telling her that I do, because my thing was, this wall of text was supposed to be neutral. It was a case of, I don't appreciate this behavior. This behavior will not be tolerated at anime soiree. And she told me it's none of my business it's none of my business on how she runs her dance group. And how dare you say it's none of my business? Because I host Candy Mix Maze. I give Candy Mix Maze the opportunity to perform at my event. My event's supposed to be a safe space. My event's supposed to be a place where people can enjoy themselves and have fun. And it hurts because I didn't stand up for the dancers who got yelled at and who felt like they couldn't have fun at an event, that they were doing the thing that they dreamed of probably doing. An event that people, the event is not what they dream of doing, but being able to dance and do it for a career and possibly build your career, possibly perform at conventions, at big idol fest. They practice for this, so for that to get ruined, it hurt. People in that group have reached out to me and told me how bad that was. So I hate that she's justifying that, oh, fans said they did good and they made their day. Guess what? It's because you put a facade and you play a character. Okay, because they don't see what I see. They don't see what your dancers see. And your dancers probably seem okay with it because I know some of them are afraid to speak out. Just like how I was afraid. Just like how I was afraid to hurt you. And I hate that. Because I failed them for not speaking out on the spot and telling Kat to not talk to her dancers like that. I failed Salem for not standing up for her voice and her opinion. This is important to me, and I opened up to her about this because 4 years ago, I was at the lowest of my lows as I was bullied my freshman year of college for being in a play. I got bullied by the lead cast member. I felt alienated. I felt alone. I felt like I didn't belong. This was something I dreamed of doing. This was the first time my parents were in the audience. I had to put on a facade, pretend I was happy, but in reality, I was hurt. I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone. And I didn't want to be alive anymore. I didn't even know if I wanted to pursue acting as a career anymore. And it was hard to get out of that ditch. It was hard to break out of that. I've lost friends because of how hurt I was, because of how badly I couldn't handle myself, handle my emotions, how I refused to seek help, how I kept threatening my own life, and how this person had a toxic hold over my life. But ever since Anime Soiree, I wanted to make it a point that I never let anyone feel as alone as they felt as I did. I wanted to make sure that everyone else in my shows that I host has a voice. I wanted to make sure every single person I book deserves the spotlight. And I wanted to make sure I don't give a platform to hurtful people who will just take advantage of it, people who will just hurt others. And I failed. I failed miserably. I failed a lot of people. I failed people close to me because at first I failed the people in these anonymous testimonials that I didn't listen to. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I failed my friends who tried telling me that what I was going through was toxic and I didn't believe them. I thought I had control over it, but I didn't. And I failed the idea of Anime Soiree. But now I know what I must do. Because of that call, I felt trapped. I was hurt. I was in a vulnerable spot. On my close friend's story on Instagram, I had a meltdown. I told people how I didn't feel comfortable. I felt trapped into doing a show and working with people who were awful after finding out awful things about Kat, not just from my experience, but from other people's experiences. Hurt because I admired who Kat was, because at the end of the day, Kat's an ambitious person. She's hardworking. I admire that because I saw some of that in myself. So it hurts to just find out the true colors of them. And so finding out from other people, it hurt even more, and I just felt guilty. I felt like an albatross was on my shoulder because I felt like I couldn't speak out because people love them, and people who tried speaking out on them got dismissed. I dismissed their claims because I didn't know. Because I just thought, okay, people like them. She's nice. But I didn't know how much she hurt people until people reached out to me. And during that video, during that close friend story, I bursted. I had a meltdown. I broke down. Even worse than this. And she ended up calling me. I gotta find the call log. It'll right here. I instantly declined it because I couldn't. It was scary because I knew what she was gonna call about because it was at midnight. No context, no upcoming shows, so I knew it was happening. Someone knew, and someone told her, and to whoever leaked it to her. I understand it might have came from a place of concern, but I don't appreciate what you've done, and it hurt me deeply. So yeah, it was an invasion of my privacy. It was betraying my trust. It was me being vulnerable. But honestly, maybe I should say thank you because it got to her. And I felt like I had to come public now. Because she texted me this. Okay, this is the first screenshot. Hey man, I just had some people text me what is going on. This is what she texted after I declined the call. I ignored this message because mentally I couldn't bear talking to her and going through that pain again. So she says, I'm genuinely very sorry that I've hurt you so badly. Blank told me that you've been saying this and feeling this way for some time. I wish we could have talked about it before now. We did talk about it before now and you dismissed my opinion. But now that it's beneficial for you and now that you feel like your reputation's now that you feel like your reputation's in jeopardy, now you want to talk about it. I wish you could have talked about it before now, but it was never ever my intention to gaslight or hurt you, and I don't feel that's what I've done. That's what I was doing. But I'm definitely not trying to change your feelings. If you feel backed into a corner and dislike working with me, I'll take that in stride and we don't have to work together anymore after your Tipitinas. I will very calmly and respectfully remove myself so you can feel better. Please, if I can ask though, spare Candy Mix Maids. They don't deserve any of the fallout to fall on them. I don't want us to remove any of the hard work we put into... I don't want anyone else to remove the hard work we put into previous shows because I know it has been a lot of work from all parties involved and I don't want to just tear that down. I'd rather talk to you more about this if possible, but if you're done with me, we can be done. I hope that this message comes off the way I'm intending it to and that we can reach an understanding. Also, sorry for saying this so late at night, just since I was told what was going on, I haven't been able to sleep. I wanted to believe Kat, once again. But even if what she was saying is genuine, even if she actually cares, I can't dismiss the fact that she's hurt me, that she's sexually harassed me, that she's manipulated me, that she's manipulated others in the past and people forgave her and she still continued this behavior, still continued this pattern. I can't forgive that she's hurt other people and put them to the side. I can't forgive that. And it hurts because It hurts because people feel as trapped as I did, and they felt like they can't say anything because everyone just likes them. Some people reached out to me when they heard that I was having these issues because I kind of took a risk. I kind of just added people to the close friends story who maybe I could trust, maybe I couldn't. And some people came out to me. Some of their friends came to me and told me that I'm not alone. And they found relief that I see the vision, because they felt crazy because they were wronged by her, but everyone seemed to love her. And that's just the problem with manipulative people, is they oftentimes are very charismatic or they're very conventionally attractive, so people are instantly captivated by them. They don't think anything could be wrong with them, or they could do no wrong. And not even with this scenario, but other scenarios, I've learned the hard thing about that. And not even from my own experience, I've learned the hard thing from people who've done nothing wrong to me, but have wronged my friend. And I wanted to believe that what they were telling was the truth, but they hurt my friend, and I'm never going to be able to forgive that, no matter how much love they have for me. You hurt someone I care about, and I'll never forgive that. To preface this, before we go into our last bit, our anonymous testimonials, I want to say that I'm not the only person who was treated disrespectfully this year by Cat. I heard rumblings about the behind-the-scenes stuff from RetroCon, their performance with the Mooney Maids. I've heard things about Cat lying to a stage manager about having permission to use the full stage, Cat actively trying to kick out dancers on the stage. I've heard things from all sorts of people. I heard things about them being hard to work with, them trying to overtake the show. I heard that Candy Mix was invited, and this was a collaboration performance, but they tried to hijack it. Davey, the organizer of RetroCon, gave me the permission to share this information, and he also gave me permission to confirm it in this story. It's one thing if you hurt me, but if you hurt other people, I can't forgive that. But oh my god, just something about Davey asked me not to share screenshots unless I have to, but he confirmed. I asked him earlier just to gauge an opinion because I heard things. People spread information. I asked him if it was real. I asked him because originally someone said that Candy Mix was banned from RetroCon. He denied that they were banned, but he confirmed that there was communication issues. Cat was being controlling. Cat tried kicking people off the stage, lied about having permission, and this, I appreciate Davey sympathizing with my story and letting me tell my side to him, and I don't want this to reflect negatively on him because all he's trying to do is run a convention, and sadly some people just take that opportunity and try to make it for themselves and discredit other people. But this has gone on for long enough. I think it's time to wrap this up. I will be going through the anonymous testimonials. showing on stage. Yes, it is. Okay. I met Allison back when I was 17 or 18. I was really young and I didn't have a lot of friends, much less cosplay friends, so her friendship meant everything to me. We messaged basically every day and spent lots of weekends together, too. We would have we would take turns driving each other around, and she would even treat me to meals and new costumes. I genuinely thought she could do no wrong. I'm not really sure when things specifically went bad at first. I think I would push back on things she wanted me to do, things I either wasn't comfortable with or that I was afraid my ex-partner would disapprove of. She would kill me. Throwing back everything she had done for me already, if I wasn't okay with something, I need to get okay with it. It really got bad when she moved to my hometown and when we started attending the same vocational school. Other other attendees treated Kat horribly as they did me. I've been bullied most of my life, so I was used to it. Kat took it very hard and didn't understand why I wasn't more upset for them. She pulled away from me very suddenly, and we had a surface level friendship for the next 2 years. To get to the root of how Kat hurt me as deeply as she did, you have to understand the relationship that I was in. I was with someone who was very emotionally manipulative and abusive towards me, making sure to isolate me from anyone who would point out what they were doing was wrong. I was very young and naive and didn't recognize the abuse until I had left the relationship. I'm sorry. It's just a lot. I've been talking for 2 hours, so. Kat knew her relationship wasn't healthy and knew I wasn't happy with them. We broke up before a big convention in the summer. Unfortunately, I still had to attend with them as they booked our hotel room. I made it very clear to them I barely wanted to see them all weekend and to not attend any panels I was affiliated with. They proceeded to show up to every panel and make me extremely uncomfortable to the point I had to yell and turn them away from the 18 plus panel. I later found out Kat had told them to come out because they were friends too. After that, I didn't talk to her. I wanted nothing to do with her. I felt so betrayed and terrible. I didn't understand why she would do this to me. That winter, she called me to bury the hatchet as we had still had all the same friends and shared a few groups. I was hesitant, but at one time we had been so close and thought I could trust her. I told her about how much she had hurt me and about the extent of the abuse. She immediately sympathized with me and apologized. A few weeks later, we were out to eat with mutual friends, and she was gathering phone numbers so we could all stay in touch. I declined to put my number in her phone, assuming she still had it since she had called me recently. I later found out that she had taken this as a grave insult and was now running around with my ex and telling people I was lying about being abused for attention. I don't know why she did this. I don't know why she decided to be so unfathomably cruel. We haven't spoken in years, though I have friends who are still close to her who insisted she was different and had changed for the better. I really believed them, but it wasn't true. That one hurt because I can relate to this. I heard horrible things, and I thought that I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I didn't know the severity of how bad these things were. Kat has been around the cosplay community for many years, and since she has been around, she has been known to cause issues, whether it be being incredibly hard to work with because she wanted to be in control or the center of attention, or her exhibiting abusive behavior to not only the friends she had in her life, but also partners. This will be a list of some things she has done over the years that multiple people have witnessed. Kat has been a part of many projects in the past, whether it be dance groups, maid cafes, or even just being involved in a panel. Many times people have reported her to be difficult to work with because she wants to be in control. Examples including speaking over people, telling group leaders that their plans were stupid and that she knew better than them, making rude comments about other people in whatever group she was in, about skill, appearance, etc., lying to staff of events to try to get her way, as well as having a habit of trying to steal other people's spotlight. Even right now in her current project, Candy Mix Mix, she is known for yelling and being rude to her fellow performers, as well as there being complaints about her behavior towards event and con staff. Beyond working with her in professional settings, things get a little more rocky when delving into her personal relationships and how she treats others. As stated before, she has a habit of needing attention. She will accomplish this by many means. It could be flirting with one of her friend's significant others, to the point where she will physically be all over them, making them and obviously her friends very uncomfortable, and when confronted about it, will give the excuse that she was drunk, which being drunk is a little too common for her. It could also be yelling at everyone to look and pay attention to her while she does something at an event, celebrating someone else. It could also be having a panic attack at an event for someone else, a birthday party, performance, etc., usually triggered by not getting enough attention or not getting her way, and making everyone stop what they are doing and coddle her. If you do not do this for her, she will confront you about it the next day and tell you you are a bad person for not stopping the entire function for her. Let's talk a little bit about what happens. Let's talk a little bit about what happens when you do not give her what she wants. Like stated, she will confront you and tell you that you hurt her and that you are a bad person, and then list everything she has done for you to attempt to hold her few good actions over your head so that you hopefully forget her bad actions. She also uses phone calls and in-person meetups to try to intimidate others by not giving time to process responses and coincidentally not leave any evidence of what she says behind. In some cases, if she is super close to that person, these reactions can become physical. She will slam her head into walls, punch walls, get physically violent with people, scream and threaten people, etc. She has done so with not only her friends but has also done so with her significant others. She is also known to be emotionally abusive. Gaslighting comes easily to her, unfortunately. There have been occasions where she will convince people to tell her their deepest secret just so that she can have ammunition against them if they dare to fire. Yes, she has told people that to their face. They have also been instances where she will tell people to do something for her, and then once it happens, creates a scene and scream at them that they've done something unforgivable, as well as quite literally doing things and then blaming it on another person or saying someone else did that thing. Most of the time, these things being rude, sexual, hateful, etc. She's also known for forms of sexual harassment. As stated before, she will flirt with people's significant others to the point where she will be all over them physically. She also does this with anyone she thinks she could control. DC Deshimo, unfortunately, has experienced this. Honestly, this can go on and on as she's committed lots of obscenities, but I'm sure everyone gets the point by now. This testimony of her actions has been provided not to slander, but to make people in our community aware of her behavior so that they can protect themselves and hopefully avoid getting caught up in her schemes or give people the courage to create distance. DJ Deshimo decided to publicly speak out is a huge act of courage, especially knowing how manipulative Kat can be. So providing some more clarity and testimony to this cause in any way possible is something that couldn't be passed up. Many people have suffered at her hands, so I'm glad that Deshimo is offering people the chance to speak out. I'm gonna wrap this up because those claims were for people that have helped me out a lot in the situation, who I've got word far too late, but I mean, they've helped me through the situation, in a situation where I thought was bleak. They gave me confirmation of what I was feeling was not ridiculous and that I was not alone. I've also got confirmation that other people have been feeling this way. And what I want to say is, you can remain anonymous, but if you speak out, and if you go public, no matter if you were you're one of the two people who made the testimonial in this video, or if you're someone who has not even shared your story with anyone, I will support your story, I will share it, and I will not tolerate any sort of abuse from anyone anymore. I will not tolerate I will not let these stories go without light, because these two stories were ignored. These two stories did not see the light of day, and I could have avoided all of this. I could have just, talked to Kat, be like, oh, we could do the show. We could do the show in January. We could even do the show in we could do the after party in January. We could even do the anniversary show in February. But after that, I'm done. I could have just been like that, but no. With everything I know now, with my pain, with other people's pain, it would be rude of me to not speak out. It would be rude of me just to think of my brand. Because if I could stop someone from feeling the same pain that I felt or others feel, I have to take it. It's something I have to do. It's something I don't feel right with doing. And I thought about it. There's definitely people who might not come to my shows anymore. There might be people who don't see me, who don't trust me anymore. There might be people who discredit me and my story. I might have even hurt future bookings. I might have jeopardized one of the biggest opportunities in my life that's coming up. But at this point, at least I can move on. I have peace of mind knowing that my story's public. I have peace of mind knowing that I've done my part in trying to help others, and I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing. Anime soiree, that's still my love. I'm gonna still be doing it. I'm gonna be creating my own community through it. Because if I could be frank with you, I don't like the way our community's going. I feel like people just see the community as followers, not friends, not connections. Maybe just connections, maybe just how to advance with people. It doesn't feel genuine. It feels artificial. And what I want is a community of people who care. People who want to collaborate. People who have a love for this industry. And if me telling my story, if me putting other people's stories is what stops you from coming to my show, then so be it. Because this is a new beginning for me. It's a new chapter for me. From now on, I will be putting more care into anime soiree, putting more care into people's voices being heard. I will be instituting a code of conduct that every performer will have to agree to before performing at a show. I will be appointing a new point of conduct that performers, guests, and anyone can appoint to in case I'm performing and I can't get to you, because I'm gonna do my part in helping others at my shows and making sure nothing like this happens again. But until then, this is Samir, DJ Dashimo, whatever you want to call me, signing off. And I just want you to know that you have my support, and I appreciate you all for having my support up until this point. I have big things to announce, but that's besides the point. After this video drops, I'm going to just post normal content. I'm going to go back to my normal daily activities. And yeah, I mean, if there's other people who come out, I will obviously put a halt and support them. But this isn't the end for me. And this won't be the end for Anime Soiree. Thank you.